My prediction is Buffalo will not only be fine, not only be good, my guess is over the next several years, they'll have a chance to be great. He is the most physically gifted quarterback of all time.
But the reason we believe in Buffalo is not because of Stephon Diggs, it's because of their quarterback, who happens to be named Josh Allen.
Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this is likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years. Now, not necessarily by win-loss record, but it is the worst season because y'all don't have hope. You don't have enough talent to compete.
All good things have to come to an end, and for Buffalo, that time is now.
On this team, you think the window's closed? Window's closed on this team. It has to be a new iteration of the Buffalo Bills.
The 2024 offseason has seen many of the team's most productive players get cut, all while the rest of the AFC gets stronger and more dangerous.
Think about the team they had: Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. All of those guys were linchpins into what they were. Oftentimes we pointed to what Josh Allen could do, but we forget what Leslie Frazier was to this defense.
Even before the salary cap field purge of the roster, Buffalo was the almost team that simply couldn't get the job done in the playoffs. Now, with Josh Allen piloting a severely depleted roster on both sides of the ball, it's time to admit a harsh reality. The Bills' Super Bowl window has slammed shut. And in today's video, we're gonna go over how they haven't been able to replace those key losses on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, and it's really gonna cost them another chance at a deep playoff run. When looking at suffering NFL fan bases, Buffalo is not likely to be near the top of many people's list. The ability to cheer on Josh Allen every week and watch your team win 4 division titles in a row is a luxury that would feel light years away for most fans. Teams like the New York Jets or Cleveland Browns haven't even won their division since 2002 and 1989 respectively. And I get it, you won't have many pity parties for the Buffalo Bills whenever you see them winning a lot, but there is one undeniable thing that has plagued them all throughout the Super Bowl era, and that failed attribute is the ability to get the job done when it matters. The run of 4 consecutive division titles they are on has resulted in 1 conference championship appearance and 3 consecutive divisional round losses. The last time the Bills managed to sustain such a prolific track record of playoff football was in the late 1990s when Hall of Fame Jim Kelly helped the team go to the playoffs 10 times in 12 years. As we all know, this resulted in no titles and included 4 consecutive Super Bowl losses between 1990 and 1993. Winning a Super Bowl is hard, and Bills fans have learned that the hardest way possible. They are the ultimate almost team. Or if you want to even say it a little bit harsher, they're the ultimate choke job of a team next to the Cowboys. As things stand right now, the road to the Super Bowl isn't getting any clearer for them. A salary cap field purge of veteran talent has left Buffalo with a depleted roster that is missing talent at some very important positions. With the rest of their AFC contenders seemingly getting stronger too, it is not looking good for the Bills. Let's start at the wide receiver position. It is no coincidence that Stephon Diggs' arrival in 2020 coincided with the turnaround in fortunes for the Bills. After going 10-6 in 2019 to come second in the division, Diggs helped propel the team to a 13-3 record in 2020. He was an absolute monster in the first year with his team, not only helping them win their first AFC title since 1995, but also turbocharging Josh Allen's ascension to one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
The ascension of Josh Allen coincides with the arrival
I
of
gotcha.
Stephon Diggs.
I gotcha.
And look, I know that our tendency is to always want to kind of separate out player performance and say, no, it's him. No, it's him. No, it's both. And that's what Stephon is saying. Are you sure? Are you sure he's still the same Josh Allen without me? There's no way you're going to tell me that without Stephon Diggs, unless they make some kind of material addition to the wide receiver room, that Josh is going to be top 5 in total QBR, top 5 in passing yards, top 5 in passing touchdowns like he was last year. There's no way you're going to tell me that.
The pair combined for 1,535 yards on 127 receptions, with Diggs leading the league in both categories. After that epic introduction to life in Buffalo, Diggs went on to post at least 1,180 283 yards and 103 receptions in the next 3 seasons since. Like, I mean, there are no two ways about it. Diggs' departure is a huge loss for Buffalo.
Really referring to with Josh Allen right now really isn't about statistical regression. I don't care about that. What I care about is this. Can you impact the rest of this roster and get them over the hump and get them to the Super Bowl? Because honestly, look, Patrick Mahomes statistically regressed. Okay, he regressed. But when Tyreek Hill left, but you know what he did? He took his team to Super Bowls. That's what we're talking about.
Like, I mean, talented X wide receivers are hard to come by in today's day and age. But to make matters even worse, the Bills then went on to lose their downfield threat in Gabe Davis. I do get that Davis was a lot more boom bust than Diggs in Buffalo, but a 200-yard, 4-touchdown performance in the 2021 playoffs against Kansas City and another 113 yards and 1 touchdown a year later against Miami shows how valuable he can be in the offense. And it really makes you question why they didn't offer him a bigger deal to keep him in Buffalo. Davis and Diggs accounted for 241 of Josh Allen's 579 attempts in 2023. That equates to 41.6%. And more importantly, those are the high value targets when Josh Allen needs to make a play or let it rip for a deep completion in a dire situation. Replacing both of those targets was going to always be the key for Josh Allen to remain successful in Buffalo. But how well did they do that though? The headline move was the selection of Keon Coleman with the 33rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft.
They're going to want to lean on James Cook, the running back, Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, in the passing game. Like, those are their most explosive, weapons that they know about. The wide receiver core is going to have to come together. And if somebody, rookie Keon Coleman, steps forward and becomes a #1 wide receiver, great. But they are not going into this season thinking that they have one in the mold that Stefon Diggs was for Josh Allen. The offense is going to look different.
Coleman's highlight reel will get any NFL fan out of their seat, but the flashy plays cover up a skill set that could be problematic for Buffalo, and especially just in the NFL. Like, and I'm just saying this blatantly, but separation is simply not a part of Coleman's game. With a 4.61 second 40-yard dash suggests that he will struggle to outrun any NFL cornerbacks. And look, I get the hype around him was based on incredible contested catches and body control for someone of his size, but he needs to offer much more than that to be able to fill the shoes of Stefon Diggs. According to Matt Harmon's reception perception, Coleman ranks in the 20th percentile against man coverage and in the 19th percentile against press coverage. Like, that just does not sit well with me, especially for a guy who is going to be asked to line up on the outside against NFL caliber cornerbacks. In direct contrast to this, Diggs ranked in the 76th and 75th percentile respectively in 2023. Like, the matter of the fact is right now is that Stefon Diggs was a great separator and a beautiful route runner. The opposite of that is being said about Keon Coleman, as of right now at least. And I mean, aside from Keon Coleman, can you in the comments section name anybody else that they've signed? Because I couldn't before I did this research, honestly, besides the 2 tight ends. And look, even if you were able to name some of them, they really probably don't excite you that much. Curtis Samuel is a useful addition, but some names such as Mac Hollins, Chase Claypool, and MVS are not the most inspiring. MVS certainly replaces some of the deep threat ability that left with Gabe Davis, but the reality is that he could only muster up 315 yards in a Kansas City offense that desperately needed a wide receiver and had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. And as I said before, both tight ends, especially sophomore Dalton Kincaid, are very exciting names at the tight end position though. Like, I mean, the concerns at the wide receiver position are for real.
The fact that he is on the field, what do you think that does for Dalton Kincaid? What do you think that does for Khalil Shakir? Just because he's not getting the ball doesn't mean he's not impacting the game tremendously. And I understand exactly what you're saying too, Mel, as far as his impact that you can't measure statistically on the football team in terms of was he being a distraction while he was there. But there's no way that Brandon Beane himself said, look, I cannot sit here and tell you that we're a better football team without Stefon Diggs.
Like, a lot is riding on Keon Coleman disproving a lot of the red flags on his profile and succeeding as a #1 receiver in this offense. And if that does not happen and he does start to struggle in trying to get away from NFL caliber cornerbacks, what happens next? Like, who does Josh Allen throw the ball to when he needs to make a play then? There is no doubt that Allen is a completely different different player than who he was as a rookie or even as a sophomore. But it is worth noting that all his success has come with Diggs on the roster. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a decline in Allen because of that. There is only so much that a superstar quarterback can do. One quick thing I wanted to mention also is that if you guys have not, make sure to join my Discord where we are doing monthly giveaways. In June, I should be doing 2 autographed jersey giveaways, so make sure you join over there. And during the NFL season, we will have some huge fantasy leagues and weekly and season-long pick'ems for big cash prizes. And I mean, the best part about all of this is that it's free to join. So I highly recommend joining. We're trying to build a community over there, but let's hop right back into the video. Life in the NFL is hard if you don't have an X receiver who can line up on the outside and find space to make a big play. Just look at Patrick Mahomes for the majority of the 2023 season. That offense was tough to watch, which is not something that we expected to say about a Mahomes-led offense. What did allow for Kansas City to survive the regular season though, and eventually win the Super Bowl, was their defense. And I mean, it's hard to see Buffalo's unit putting on a similar performance to help out their offense in 2024, given their offseason departures. Those departures are headlined by Jordan Poyer and Tre'Davious White, who have been staples of the Bills defense for the last 7 years.
Poyer and Micah Hyde, they're gone. Milano coming off a knee injury. Von Miller, his Hall of Fame career resume, his Hall of Fame talent on the field, we haven't seen it in 2 years now. Tre'Davious White, he gone. Everybody's gone. Gone, all of them. Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, that's who you're depending on. 2 tight ends.
And look, I know a lot of you are going to try and defend these moves by saying, look at their age and how old they are, which is totally understandable, and I do get, since they are starting to age out and just kind of leave their primes. But even though you are letting go of them, you still need to fill those holes in the defense, which I don't think the Bills did still. In addition to those 2 stars of the secondary, Leonard Floyd's time as a Buffalo Bill is up after just 1 year. He has been a consistent producer in his career, not missing a game in the last 6 seasons. His 10.5 sacks tied his career best and led the team in 2023, signifying another big loss for Buffalo. Thankfully, the team was able to keep a hold of AJ Epineza and Daquan Jones, while also picking up the 5th-year option of Greg Rousseau to keep some talent on the defensive line. The elephant in the room, though, and that everybody still is questioning to this day, is what the hell are they going to do with that massive contract on Von Miller? Like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, I mean, the all-pro outside linebacker was signed to be the missing piece on defense back in 2022. He was given a 6-year, $120 million deal. Like, what the hell? After registering 8 sacks in his first season with the team in 2022, which still isn't that great, Miller suffered a devastating ACL injury that was clearly still affecting him in 2023. And to add even more pain, and I mean, I'm getting so mad just reading this, is that after returning to the field, Miller didn't register any sacks and could only muster up 3 total tackles in 12 games played. Like, to say the least, it was an underwhelming and messy season that also included him surrendering to an arrest warrant based on the accusation of domestic violence against the mother of his children, who was pregnant at the time. Like, I don't know what I need to keep saying to prove that this is the worst contract in the NFL right now, or at least one of them. Like, Miller accounts for $15 million against the cap in 2024, which is one of the reasons some of his teammates have had to be shown the door. Like, I mean, it's imperative to the Bills' success that he somehow just gets back some of the magic to at least make the Bills feel warranted for giving him such a monster contract. Because I mean, if not, this defense is going to struggle, and any hopes of a defensive-led 2024 season like Kansas City's last year is going to be very unlikely. Like, I mean, it's just safe to say that no matter how you look at it, just all the key departures, not only on the defensive side of the ball, but the offensive side of the ball too, it just really makes it tough to see these guys even making a Super Bowl run. And look, even if they can somehow figure out all these personnel changes and figure out how to win in the regular season, that's not even their kryptonite. Their kryptonite is winning in the postseason, which they can't do. Like, 2019 was an overtime loss to Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. 2020 was a 14-point loss to Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And then almost 1 year later, that same Chiefs side dished out an agonizing divisional round loss that was triggered by Mahomes' infamous 13-second drive to send the game to overtime. The 2022 divisional round finally gave the Bills at least a break from the Kansas City Chiefs in January, only for the Bengals to then come into Buffalo to easily sweep them aside to the tune of 27 points to 10. And finally in 2023, the Chiefs once again delivered a heartbreaking 27-24 victory on their way to winning the Super Bowl yet again. Like, for whatever reason, this team just has not been able to get the job done. Like, yes, they have come up against some good teams in the playoffs, and I mean, they even lost to like the perennial team that's like the dynasty during this age and time right now in the NFL, but that's just not a good enough excuse. Like, I mean, Buffalo has the quarterback in Josh Allen, and for the most part, they've had a good defense in these playoff games. Like, I mean, hell, more importantly, they've had the lead in some of these games. Like, figure it out. Like, remember, with just 13 seconds on the clock in the 2021 playoffs, all they had to do was stop Mahomes marching into field goal range from his own 25-yard line, and they couldn't even do that. Like, it is just a frustrating resume of playoff action, and Bills fans will be far from reassured to see the rest of the AFC get stronger while they got weaker. Like, just some of the teams that I'm going to list right now have gotten so much better. The reigning Super Bowl champs have improved by bolstering their offense via free agency and the draft, while also keeping the majority of that dominant defense together. As we all know, the main weapon that's going to excite Chiefs fans this year is Xavier Worthy, who looks set to try and fill the Tyreek role in this Andy Reid offense. Oh, and that was thanks to the Bills for trading them that pick to go and draft Worthy in the first round of the 2024 draft. Elsewhere in the AFC, the Houston Texans' quick turnaround received another boost in the form of Stephon Diggs, giving their golden boy CJ Stroud another weapon to play with. The Ravens look primed and ready to give it another good run, with Derrick Henry now lining up alongside Lamar Jackson, and Cincinnati will have their chances with a healthy Joe Burrow now back under center. And look, I mean, it's not even just the AFC title that the Bills need to be worried about now either. Their route to winning the AFC East this year has just gotten so much harder too, considering that the Jets now have a healthy Aaron Rodgers and that Miami still has that explosive offense that I don't even know if this defense is going to be able to keep up with now. And look, Buffalo is still certainly going to put up a good fight, and the presence of Josh Allen means that they have a shot at winning every single game. But there is no doubt that the outlook for 2024 is gloomier than it has been in recent years. And more importantly, that I do think that their Super Bowl window is officially closed. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that the Bills still have an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl as long as they have Josh Allen, or do they need to start investing more weapons into him? Because as I've stated before, I just don't know if he's going to be able to put the team on his back and win the games. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.